So I just had cause recently to think again about the sequel Star Wars trilogy and what exactly about those three films makes them terrible and incredibly disappointing and awful movies that sort of like I don't know like what really was going on in the mind of J.J. Abrams and Ryan Johnson when they decided to sort of take lovely Star Wars and all of its rules and boundaries and like start taking like a hacksaw to it and just hacking away at like the bone and sinew that Star Wars sort of rests upon. So yeah, I mean, where to begin? I suppose like the best place to begin is with the first film, The Force Awakens. Dreadful title as well. I mean, did the Force ever go to sleep? Or like did the Force like stop existing at some point? But oh great, like the Force is back. And like, then there's all the ways in which they fuck up the Force. But there's too much to get into. Like, what is the stupidest thing about The Force Awakens? Is it that they've got like a hacky, pretentious villain who's like this sort of young, Byronic hero villain type? You know, this renewed Anakin. So you know, you got bitchy Anakin from the prequels, and like it makes that's bearable really compared to the fucking sequels, but and all the dreadful acting and the bits and pieces with the prequels that are incorrect or like troubling. But so you got this Kylo Ren dickhead knocking around, causing trouble. Basically, new Darth Vader, but without the physical deformities that makes wearing a mask necessary. And I mean, I presume he knows about that, like the condition that Vader was in that necessitated his wearing of the suit. So it makes it, by comparison, he doesn't need the mask. It makes the fact that he's wearing a mask at all seem a little bit arbitrary, redundant, and really quite odd in a way. Because he's like a sort of Vader fanboy, and these are fanboy films, and it's striking. It's like even like this detail in it. This villain we're all supposed to be very, very afraid of. You know, he's like got sort of creepy fanboy thing going on with like his admiration of Vader. I guess is his granddad. You know, like the equivalent would be like say like your granddad got shot in World War II and was in a wheelchair, and you admired him so much you after he died took his wheelchair and just start going around in it even though you don't need to. Or you get like your own wheelchair like that's similar to his, and it's like why? Because I'm emulating my grandfather. It's like, you look a fool. That's the major issue with it. It just looks stupid. And then we've got Palpatine Mark II. Obviously, this Supreme Leader Snoke dude. Sort of evil old guy or alien creature of some description. You assume is strong with the dark side of the Force, and he's running the First Order. You know, as the Donald Gleason character gleefully proclaims from a balcony on this ridiculous thing called Star Killer Base. And like, whoa, like the thing about this is the majorly stupid thing about the film is this huge project they put into motion. The good thing about like the old Star Wars is yeah, I know it's like high concept science fiction, and but it doesn't play fast and loose too much with physics, if you see what I mean. And like you look at the Death Star, the original Death Star built after many years at the height of the Empire's power, And you look at the and you come across and like seeing that in the 70s, that must have been an amazing scene just to see that in A New Hope. You know, it's like oh, it's a small moon. It's like it's no moon, it's a space station. It's like fucking hell. And you think like, could a really advanced civilization, way in the future, or a very long time ago, etc., a galaxy far away, could like a very advanced civilization build something like that? And you just think, I think maybe they could, you know. But then like this Star Killer base thing, what they've done, like they've decided like, oh, they're giving up on Death Stars now. What they've decided to do is they've decided to etch a gun, for want of a better word, into the face of a planet. It's like the amount of physics fuck up that would cause. Like, for one thing, alright, is this planet tidally locked? Is that it? And it's not rotating. Like, how can you aim it? It would upset the structural integrity of the body into which it's been etched. The whole thing, it looks like a giant butt crack as well. That is the butt crack of J.J. Abrams, showing its disgusting little crevice in Star Wars franchises. Like, these films shouldn't be considered canon, I don't think. Like, these are fan fiction films, in my opinion. And like the whole thing, like if it was rotating, it would just rip itself apart. Like I don't see why it's holding itself together anyway. There's like no internal convection currents of magma and so on. There's nothing rotating inside of it. I mean, that planet seems to have an atmosphere. It's somewhat Earth-like. That presupposes the fact that it has a magnetic field. No. And like, what are you gonna? And then like, oh, it does this other stupid thing where to like fuel it up, it sucks plasma out of a star. I was like, what? It's orbiting a star. How does that not change its orbit? If it can do that, like, why isn't the gravity affected? Like, which, for one thing, would be affected anyway, by dint of the fact that it has got a gaping hole in its surface that runs seemingly down to its core. Like, you can't do that sort of thing to a planet and not have a planet fall apart on you. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. That's all it is. Like a Death Star, like, it's like, yeah, like, you can imagine it. You can suspend disbelief for it. That's the issue. Like, you think, yo, maybe they could have built something like that in the future. Like, yeah, a space station about the size of a small moon with planet-killing capabilities. And another thing, like, these First Order dickheads, they're offshoots of the Empire. But it's like, why have they got, like, construction capabilities way beyond what the Empire were ever capable of? Why do they have, and it's like, this new thing is capable of killing 5 planets at once. Like, and you know, like when Alderaan gets destroyed, you know, you do go a bit like, fuck, he did it. He destroyed a planet. Holy shit. Like, these people are genocidal monsters. Like, whoa. But it's like destruction of 5 planets at once, a New Republic planet, whatever, which isn't Coruscant, I don't think. Yeah, it's like 5 planets like at once. Like, oh, all right, well, that happened. And why are these plasma beams? How are they getting aimed through space? Like, at least like with the Death Star, like you had this whole tense build up. We had like the locking on to target, the firing up of the death ray, the beam, you know, and Alderaan, you know, destroyed. Creates like tension and build up when they're getting the space station into position. But this thing is just like, and it finds like its targets. And also, like, if you're gonna do that, like with planets, why haven't you figured out how to do that with blasters? Why haven't you got blasters that can shoot around corners then? Why haven't you got like a smaller version of whatever magic gun that is on like your Star Destroyers? And why aren't you having like magic gun shit that can just shoot anything from anywhere? Like you hide your Star Destroyer behind the moon or something, and just it fires around the moon and finds its target. Think. Like it's just what like it's something like that. Like a detail you wouldn't think is particularly important, and like I can suspend my disbelief for it. No, I can't. Like it fucks with the structure of Star Wars. It fucks deeply with the rules of it. Okay, and they'll do this. Abrams and Johnson will do this again and again and again throughout the next two films. You know, the middle one, which is like obviously like The Empire Strikes Back, is like the best one. It's the worst one. At least at the end of the third one, you got this sort of like kind of cool Dunkirk moment. With all these spaceships arriving. That was a bit heartwarming, granted. But yeah, you got Abrams with his magic arse crack gun, ruining Star Wars. And like, how's it destroyed? Starkiller Base. Like, how's I hate the name as well. How's the entire thing destroyed? You never guess. It's like a ventilation gate, isn't it? Like something for cooling the thing after it's sucked star into a planet. What the fuck do you think's gonna happen if you do that? Do you know nothing about like nuclear fusion research? Like, we can't contain tiny bits of plasma with incredibly strong magnetic fields for much longer than about 3 seconds with current technology. Like, you're sucking in like astronomical portions of a star's plasma inside a planet. I think it's going to happen to the planet. It'll like your stupid little vent. Like, that's your technology, like a vent. Is that it, really? You can't like, get more imaginative than this. You've got no magnetic fields controlling the plasma, and it's all like cooled by a vent. Like, bitch, please. Like, it's Star Wars. Like, there's no sort of pretension to being like scientifically accurate. I was like, yeah, I know, like parsecs being distance and not time. Actually, that does work if you know about relativity. But it'd be forming like length contraction between different points of the Kessel Run, and that's how it gets it down to 12 parsecs or whatever it is. And it's an allusion to, and like Family Guy thought they were really clever because they're stuck in the Newtonian universe of like ripping on that, but it's beside the point. It is correct, like by some interpretations, you know, of how you could invoke relativistic concepts to affect faster than light travel. It does sort of work, but never mind. Yeah, like I won't look at something that strikes me in science fiction, any science fiction that strikes me as being physically impossible. You know, like, it's just an abuse of the rules in Star Wars, and he's like, oh, we've got guns that can shoot around corners now. I was like, well, Star Wars is gonna get a bit boring now, isn't it? Because we can't have battles in space. We can't have Star Wars, wars among the stars, and so on. Very silly. It's not as bad. It might be slightly worse on reflection, actually, than Rian Johnson's centerpiece. This scene that you can just tell because of how it's shot. He was so unbearably proud of, I bet. Like, when she jumps to light speed in that cruiser, into Snoke's ship and destroys the entire fleet. Like, well, you think like you're cleverer than everyone else in the whole galaxy for thousands of years before that, or however long the Republic was, however long the Empire was going on. Like, yeah, you're the cleverest, aren't you, Rian Johnson? Because no one had thought to do that before. Like, well, okay, now there definitely can't be Star Wars, can there? Because, I would just do that again, sacrifice a cruiser to destroy their whole fleet. What? Fuck off. Like, that was like, done! Enough! Stop doing this! Like, this is clowning. This is clowning in Star Wars. This is, like, you walk into, like, why not do that to a planet then? I mean, for fuck's sake. It's so annoying. So annoying. And, like, idiotic weapons of mass destruction to one side. Like, well, there you go. You got another one, haven't you? Got a huge explosion. And I know you're invoking, like, relativistic notions to try and, like, make that make sense. Like, well, I think of the energy released by a single collision is, oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I think also about length contraction. What if it just all contracts down to, like, a space the size of the electron as they go to light speed, and it creates an electron-sized hole in Snoke's ship. Like, also, like, projectiles, when they're going very fast, they don't actually cause all that much damage. The faster something goes, like they found this out with sniper bullets in the 1930s. I happen to know because George Orwell very luckily survived a sniper shot in the neck, because part of the reason for that was the bullet was actually going too quickly. So they thought, faster equals more destructive back then. It doesn't. But no, you can't do that. You can't do that to Star Wars. Like, there's nothing left of Star Wars then. Like, you're taking its guts out. Fucking around with light speed into... Like, why haven't you got light speed weaponry then? Why haven't you got railguns instead of blasters? Like, that can cause, like... and while we're at it, like, why not nukes? Why aren't you railgunning nukes into Star Wars? Why blasters? Why lasers? Like, the implications of it is, it's not merely like physical projectile. Well, yeah, it is. That's the implication. You're using physical projectiles now in space. Like, we in the Lucas prequels, we had like missiles and things, and those I think it's those like annoying like droid things that started destroying or eating Anakin's ship. His starfighter, like buzz droids or something, was it? It's something different. Whatever they are. Yeah, like, alright, I'll allow that sort of stuff. Missiles, yeah. Okay, why not? Or depth charges, like from Slave One, the Jango Fett / Boba Fett ship in the asteroid field. That was a pretty cool scene. Alright, I'll allow that. That's still laserish. But yeah, like ramming ships. No, stop. You can't have a fleet then, because then you can have a fleet-killing projectile. No, stop it. And then what's in the third movie? A whacking great fleet. And no one thinks to copy this ingenious idea of that lady, whatever her name is, with her ship and do a suicide bomb run, or even just hook up a droid to do it, get an R2 in there, but like an R2 that no one's heard of and no one has any attachment to. Or frankly C-3PO himself, because he's always been annoying, and there I said it. Nah, 3PO's cool. It was all cool in the beginning. Everyone's fucking cool in it. originally. But yeah, whacking gratefully. And oh, guess who's back from the dead? Fucking Palpatine. Like what? Like did he get thrown in a hole? And he burst up in a flash of blue light. And like I said, did he not get chucked into the reactor? That's always how I've interpreted that. But no, he shows up again for fuck's sake, and he's like cloned his body, but he's cloned it imperfectly, which is also faintly ridiculous, as he relied heavily on cloned soldiers from his rise to power. And yeah, he's got little bits of Snoke floating in tanks, and Snoke was like a puppet for Palpatine all along. And what else? Why did he clone himself old and wrinkled? Was it just because Ian McDiarmid's old? That's the only reason, isn't it? He's cloned himself. His original body is gone. It must be gone. I'm not having that at all. Alright? No. The Death Star blew up. Okay, they destroyed the second one. Okay, his body is vaporized. His original body. His Force Ghost has re-emerged in some sort of fabricated body. Yeah? But it's even more older and fucked up. You were trying to pull that, weren't you, Abrams? Oh my god. What is wrong with you? Have you seen Star Wars? Return of the Jedi, have you seen it? Have you seen it? It blows up, his body's down a hole, probably in the reactor. Lando, very quickly destroys the Death Star. Luke and Vader get out there, more or less in the nick of time. His body's gone. There is no... It couldn't... No, it's not floating around in space. It isn't. So there, alright? And he clones himself old instead of youthful or something, in his younger days. He's cloned himself old and post-Windu, fucked up, but even more fucked up looking, because he's bad at cloning, which we already know he isn't. He's got Kaminoans making him a clone army early on. Isn't he? So, why doesn't he get a Kaminoan, double of his younger self? And for that matter, Palpatine, has got clones of himself. Why has he been defeated at all? Surely isn't that the ideal way to never lose your grip on power? If you can clone yourself and hop between bodies using the Force. Well, he's indestructible then, isn't he? Basically. Oh, and by the way, what's to stop him doing that again? Whenever he wants, Oh, and then you've got this huge fleet, which we ought to really understand the problem with now. Somehow managed to hide out in this weird, extra dimension planet called Exegol, and they've got planet-destroying lasers on them, a la Death Stars. Whoa! Well, you're developing all that while developing Starkiller Base. Don't ever make me say Starkiller Base again. You stupid fanboys. Yeah, the Dunkirk moment. Oh, and there's all the ships protected, as I remember, by a shield, and one ship has the master switch for the shields. Palpatine does not have a good track record with shields. They trouble him a lot. He's gotten into a lot of trouble because of his shield tactics. Didn't work on the first Death Star because they destroyed the shield, shut down the shield, then destroyed it with that Womp Rat hole. Then on Endor they shut down the shield and destroyed the Death Star second time. But throughout the original trilogy, he seems to get better with shields, I think. Like, you know, like the sort of cupping the Death Star that's in the process of being made in the Endor shields, like while it's being built, yeah, sort of makes sense. But this business of sticking a single fucking shield, why don't they all have one? What about that? Why aren't they regular Star Destroyers, each of which has its own fucking shield? Well, there you go. You've got an unstoppable array of planet-destroying Star Destroyers. If they just act like normal Star Destroyers, each with their own shield, or not. So yeah, again, fucking with the rules of Star Wars, messing with it, and like after that film, there can be no Star Wars now, like not any more in the future. And what I think we're gonna have to do, like with Star Wars, if we want to keep it going, really, is look to the past and try to have more prequels. I already came up with the idea of trying to write the young Qui-Gon trilogy, which I think could be so good if done right, you know. Get Christopher Nolan to direct them. That might be the key there. Yeah, the young Qui-Gon is directed by Christopher Nolan. Who would not pay for that? That'd be fantastic. I'm not sure he's a Star Wars fan. I have no idea if he is or not. But yeah, these films, dreadful, dreadful, dreadful. Lots of great actors in them, in fairness. Like John Boyega and Daisy Ridley, who's absolutely lovely, and I love her smile and everything else, and she's a fantastic screen presence. She deserves a great career. They all do. Oscar Isaac is a great guy, and it was nice seeing the original cast, some of them back again. But like, oh yeah, that's it. Like, you get Harrison Ford playing Han Solo again, or what? Just has like a faintly pathetic death at the hands of his son. And like, so some bits like that dude, like the Kylo Ren guy is like, you can bring it back. It's like, what he is? He's the Jedi equivalent of a school shooter. You can bring it back. It's okay. You can bring it back to life. It's like, not really. You can't. You killed a load of your cohort of Jedi. You're like a Columbine kid among Jedi. Can you bring it back? Not really. No. Like, oh God. Anyway, enough of this. I could go on. Thank you everyone for watching, by the way. I love you guys.